If you're a business owner and most of your day is spent answering questions, solving problems, and jumping into different departments, there's a good chance you actually don't feel like you own a business. It probably feels more like the business owns you. And you don't even have to be a business owner to feel like this. If you're a manager, they can feel the exact same way. And the strange thing that happens is after the business starts to grow, your revenue starts to grow, your team starts to grow, your clients start to grow, somehow your freedom starts to shrink. And at some point you start wondering, did I build a business or did I just create a job that never turns off? And again, whether you're a manager or a business owner, it can feel the same way. You can have the same feeling as a manager, like, does this ever shut off? And if your business depends on you solving problems all day, then the business can't really grow beyond you, or your team can't grow beyond you. And eventually, three things usually start happening. You become the bottleneck for decisions, your team starts waiting on you instead of growing, and scaling the company becomes much harder than it should be. And the frustrating part is you're probably working harder than ever, but the business still depends on you more than you want it to. So the question is, how do you move from operating your business every day to actually owning a business that can run without you being involved in everything? And it's the same question as a manager. How can you move from being involved in your business every day as a manager to actually having the team run on its own without you being involved in everything? Because nobody really teaches you that transition. And you know how to start the business, you know how to grow the business, but figuring out how to step out of the center of everything is a completely different challenge. And I've spent the last 16 years helping a company grow a business in the aviation industry. When I came into the business, I was like the 7th employee. We were doing less than $1 million in top line revenue. And over the past 16 years, we've grown to over 130 employees and revenues approaching 9 figures. And I've been there. And one of the biggest lessons along the way that I've learned and that our owner has learned is to how to move from solving problems ourselves to building systems and leaders that solve the problems. Because without that shift, the business can't scale the way you want it to. And most businesses start the same way you probably started yours. You saw an opportunity, you worked incredibly hard, and you solved problems faster than anyone else. And that ability to solve problems is usually why the business grew in the first place. But then something subtle happens. The business slowly becomes organized around you being involved in everything. And if that's happening, your week probably looks something like this. Your team is constantly asking you for decisions. You get pulled into problems across different departments. You're reviewing things other people should probably own. You feel like you're the only person who really sees the big picture. But the issue usually isn't that your team isn't capable. The issue is that the company was built around your involvement. And at some point, that has to change. And for me, I remember I came to this point, we were probably at 50 employees. And I was running a department where I had started out being the one and only person. But when it grew to about 10 of us, and I moved from being in my office, being in with everybody else, I moved into another office physically somewhere else. That's when I realized that this whole thing revolves around me. And I didn't even understand, or I didn't even really pick up on it, that my weekends were shot. I was always on the phone on the weekends. People were calling me. I was missing dinners. I was taking vacations, but I was on my phone dealing with clients or problems. I just assumed this is how it is. This is how it is growing a business. And I guess at the beginning, Yeah, that is, but there comes a point where it shouldn't be like this. You're going to cap yourself, you're going to cap your business if you can't grow beyond that. So there has to be a shift. And the shift is the transition from the operator to owner starts with one important realization. When you're operating, you solve the problems, but when you're owning, you build systems that solve problems. And there's 3 shifts for this. The first shift is stop being the best problem solver. I know early in your business, you probably were the best problem solver. But if you stay the best problem solver forever, your team never develops the ability to solve problems without you. And instead of immediately answering questions, this is what you can do. When a question comes to you, just start asking, what do you think? What do you think we should do? That simple shift starts building decision makers around you. And even though I'm not the business owner, I'm the number 2 at the company of 130 people, the weight of responsibility, the bottleneck of me kind of knowing everything was hemming me in to where I had no life, outside of work. So this shift right here really started to help me allow others to start making decisions or to give their voice, and it stopped them from coming to me because I would ask them, what do you think we should do? The second shift is you have to build leadership layers. You have to build people up beyond you. As your business grows, you can't be the only decision maker for everything. Instead, your leaders should own outcomes in their departments. And your focus shifts toward things like vision, direction, strategy, alignment, not daily operational decisions. And this was something that it's easier said than done. But when you start empowering other people, when you start focusing on developing others around you, developing layers of people around you, we started to put into practice that one person could only have a maximum of 8 reports to them. They could only be responsible for 8 people underneath them. And if they had a team like I did, I had a team of 10. At one time I had a team of 12. It was approaching, like 15 people. It was just too much. So I had to put other layers in. We had to start splitting up. Even though I used to be a department of 1, as it grew, instead of being teams, we had to break it out into departments, and we had to raise up leaders to run teams in different departments. And that freed me up to do things like to talk about vision, to talk about direction, to talk about strategy, to talk about alignment. That's shift number 2. And shift number 3 is you have to design the business to run without you. If you stepped away from the business for 90 days, what would happen? And I'm asking that not just to business owners, but to team leaders and managers. If you stepped away, what would happen? Would things keep running? Would things slow down? Would things come to a complete stall? The goal actually isn't to disappear, but the goal is to build something that doesn't depend on you to function every day. And that's when you move from operating to truly owning the business you built. When you build something that doesn't depend on you, then you really get to take ownership of that business. And that's when you really get to experience time back. That's when you really get to focus on things that are really important, but they're not urgent. And as you're growing in your business, as you're growing in your team, it's so easy to get caught up in urgent things that you never get to the important things. But for the business to grow beyond you, for you to be able to step out of it operationally, to step out of it day to day, and to really own the business, you have to put systems in place. You have to put processes in place, and those systems and those processes, they will run the company for you. If you have the right people, you're hiring the right people, and you have the right processes, systems, and tools to use. That's when things get fun, is when the business is running without you. So the goal of building a business isn't to trap yourself inside it. The goal is to build something that grows beyond your daily involvement. And that shift starts when you move from being the person who solves every problem to the person who builds the organization that solves them. So I'm curious, like, what's one area of your business right now that still depends too much on you? And if you are looking for help or to get out, in the description of this video, there is a link to a quick assessment, a 5-minute assessment of 20 questions. And if you take that assessment, it'll help identify areas that I can help you with, that we can help you with, and show you some tools that can actually put this into practice so that you really can experience time back. You literally can like buy your time back without your clients suffering, without them suffering quality, without them suffering like consistency. Because that's the fear, right? You're kind of doing everything. You're answering all these questions a lot of times out of fear, because you fear that other people aren't going to do it right, and it's going to affect the customer, and the customer is going to get mad, and they're going to go somewhere else. But when you design and build a company around processes and systems that run on really simple tools, then you're going to be able to step away, but you're going to have the confidence and know that the client's getting taken care of, the right people are doing the right things, and the experience, your client's experience is going to be consistently good all the time. That's when the fun starts. So click that link, take that assessment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.